Good evening. I think we had a bit of a glitch there. I'm Barry R Frankish, and welcome to show number 5 of Frankishly Speaking. Now, I would first like to say I'd like to thank my previous guest, Miss Arabella Bella Rose. Brilliant guest a couple of weeks back. If you've not watched the broadcast, please catch it up on replay. Brilliant, phenomenal guest. Now, on with tonight. My guest tonight is doesn't really need an introduction, to be honest with you. I mean, he's an author, owner of the Antiques Paranormal Research Centre. That's a mouthful, or HAPRC to everyone else. And it's my absolute pleasure to introduce to you tonight, Mr. Neil Packer.
Oh, hello there.
Evening, Neil. Sorry about
Evening.
that. Big glitch
okay.
there.
In and out.
Now then. Let's have a look. Now, Neil. Bear with me a moment. We have already got comments coming through. Hello, you already got any hellos? I'll put some up in a moment. Now, Neil, thank you once again for joining me.
My pleasure.
Now, for anyone who's not familiar with your work, can you give us an insight into who you are, what you do, and why you chose to follow this path you do follow?
Yeah, as you said, I'm Neil Packer. I own the Haunted Antiques Paranormal Research Centre, which is in Hinckley in Leicestershire. I used to just go out investigating with guests like the normal paranormal groups do, but I want to do something different, and so I chose antiques. I thought antiques and haunted objects, so I thought that would be an interesting thing to carry on.
That's brilliant. Now, Neil, for those that know you put your life and soul into everything you do, basically. I mean, from day one, you're in your car park. I do remember those days when you came to our previous show.
It seems a long time ago now, though.
It does, doesn't it? I mean, right to when you created what you've created today in form of your research centre. I mean, with your online streaming platform. Where did it all start from, Neil? I mean, what made you decide to say, I want to start collecting this and start? At what point do you think I'm going to move from a carport into my own building?
Yeah, well, it started when I sent an email to about 20 antique dealers. Fortunately, only one replied, which is Phil Sims at Sims Vintage Antique Centre near Stratford. Because I had this idea that objects can hold on to energy. So me and my team spent the evening there, and we had so much activity. We thought, yeah, this could be interesting. So, like I said, I started buying antiques that drew my attention. But I started live feeding from the carport, but I had so many people and teams contact me asking me if they can come and see the items. I thought, perhaps I ought to get a proper building. And plus, I was getting too many. You know, the carport, you could barely move in the carport. So I spent months looking for a suitable building. Unfortunately, I found the one I'm in now. I've been there 3 years now.
I mean, I know we paid a little visit in your early days. I mean, you had some phenomenal stuff in them days. I mean, a lot of people can go out there to a museum or to an antique show or a car boot sale and pick an item. And a lot of people could say, I've got this is haunted, this is haunted, this is haunted. I know you have never claimed anything to be haunted. But what is it about an item? What makes it viable to put into a museum?
For me personally, the way I work is I do believe we've all got spirit guides, and I've been told my spirit guide in this project is my grandma on my mum's side. So I like antiques anyway. So we could be an antique centre, and a voice in my head says there's something interesting there down that side. So I'll go and straight away I'll know what item it is. So I just get a feeling, and also Jane, who's the medium at the centre, she finds items for me. And obviously, because she's a medium, she can see spirits anyway. So and we've been together. Jane and I have been working together long time now. So it's phenomenal the way it worked from then.
Are you a believer of psychometry, where you believe people energy, items called an old energy?
Yeah, I firmly believe that. I one of my theories, it's probably just not my theory, is that everything you touch throughout your life, you can leave a trace of your energy behind. And I do firmly believe that's what your growing old is.
Yeah.
When you're born, your body has a certain amount of energy. but throughout your life, you're touching things and leaving that trace behind. So, but like you say, I don't claim that any items at the centre are haunted. I think that's for other people to tell me. I know what we've picked up and what we think.
Yeah. No, as good as that. Now, I mean, over the years since you have created what you've created, I mean, you've created your own community. It's brilliant what you've done, but I mean, not everybody, unfortunately, believes I won't say believes, but sees things the way someone else, like you or myself, might see it. Now, this point of view, what some people have, I won't say call them small-minded people, but people seem to be quite adamant. I mean, wish to be able to cause ruckus and trouble. You unfortunately have been at the end of this, haven't you?
A couple of years ago, we had it quite a lot. I think that's because we were thinking differently to what the paranormal field is supposed to be thinking. The last couple of month or so, we've had a couple of people not happy about our new series, which is, we call it the Demon Files. And of course, you see, we're a research centre, so we want to research anything we can. So the Demon Files is, we are researching demons, because I firmly don't believe they are what Hollywood portrays them as.
Yeah.
I think there's more to it. We've done 2 live feeds so far, and we've done 1 recorded, and they've been fantastic. And it's just, at the minute, it's backing my ideas up of what demons are.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you there, because, like you said, Hollywood has got a lot to answer for with regards to the paranormal. I mean, do you believe that's, in a way, if it weren't for the likes of Hollywood filmmakers, we might see a more level-headed character within the paranormal these days, rather than the hype and the glory of an hour and a half thrill fest?
Yeah, I think we would. Unfortunately, people, some teams thrive on. You can just see the titles of the videos, can't you? The scariest place I've ever been to. A demon scratched me. A demon this, a demon that. And unfortunately, it does make people watch their videos. But you know as well as I do about it, it's not like that on the whole. I know you are going to get nasty spirits who will scratch you.
Yeah.
But that's far between each. You get that happening.
Yeah, I agree with you totally there. I mean, like I said, it's people's perceptions towards the paranormal. If it was, we've said the movies, the books, TV. I mean, look at that many TV shows out there, and it does a lot of these TV shows, like for example, Charmed and look at the Vampire Slayer, for example. They are based on a teenage audience, aren't they? I mean, do you believe their portrayal of the paranormal is wrong?
Definitely, I think it's very dangerous, actually. And this is something we started not last year, because we didn't do a lot last year because of the lockdown, but the year before we started a teen academy at the centre. And we'd done some teenage nights at the centre. Again, some people didn't think that was right, but to me, the teenagers will dabble anyway.
Yeah.
You know, they watch the film Ouija, they watch the film Conjuring, and it's exciting, isn't it, to a teenager? So they will dabble. In my opinion, if we sort of try and guide them the right way, they can dabble safely. Excuse me.
Yeah. And I mean, because like I said, with movies, there's an hour and a half, and 90% of his films do have an happy ending. So, I mean, like I said, with the teenagers, I mean, I've dabbled myself in my early days. I mean, everyone's done the old made spirit boards and the garage and stuff like that. It's, I mean, as you know, it's like a telephone. I mean, a spirit board is you open and close it, like with a telephone, you put your receiver down by simply saying goodbye. And a lot of people don't understand that. Something so simple as respect like that, it does seem few and far between, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
which is a shame.
It is actually. Now you say you've been the target of negative. I'll say negative forces. I mean, do you believe this is because you have dared to do something a little bit different?
Oh yeah, no doubt at all. I do believe that the paranormal field was a bit stagnant. Excuse me. Because I think all the teams doing the same stuff. They all do the spirit boxes. They all do the Ouija boards. They all do the new gadgets. So I do think it was a little bit stagnant. And we just like to think out of the box and try different way out ideas, and that's just how we do things.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, if you look at, if my opinion, I think it's, I mean, someone's dared to that a little bit different. Do you think it's jealousy?
Oh, a lot of it, yeah.
Mm.
A lot of
Like I
it.
said,
I've had a person who said he's been in the field 30 years. This was a long time ago. I've not heard from them for a couple of years now. They've been in the field 30 years. So how dare I do things that shouldn't be done? But if you've been in the field 30 years, surely you should have something to show people.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's either that or you're doing. It's either that or you're not actually you're not actually advancing enough.
No.
So you basically follow your own system. I mean, as you all know, within life, I mean, if you don't evolve, you become extinct. I mean,
yeah.
I think a paranormal is the very same in its own way, because if you're not willing to adapt and change, everything's going to be dormant and stagnant. And you by someone doing that, they've seen the likes of Most Haunted, Ghost Adventures, and a lot of these other TV shows. It's all the same concept. They'll go to a location, they'll shout out, they'll antagonize these days because they can't get a reaction by being pleasant. They antagonize. It looks more interesting for the viewer, so the viewer comes in thinking, "Oh, that's all right to do that," and but it's not. It's like anything. You look at these spirits. In my opinion, these spirits are from an era where respect was drilled into someone. We wouldn't dare talk to people like we talk to people today, would they?
Oh no, definitely. You have to treat all spirit with respect.
Yeah.
Even if they're supposed to be evil, you start with respect, because
Exactly.
I just think you get more response from that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's like to say, you catch more flies. You okay, Neil?
Yeah, I've just got a cough. It's okay.
Yeah, you catch more flies with honey than you will with vinegar, won't you?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I like that saying actually.
It's a
Now,
good one.
I mean, now we all. I mean, as a real life, I mean, anything negative towards someone will have a lasting impact. I mean, how has the negativity towards you affected your mental well-being, Neil? Has it affected you? Have you come to a point of thinking, I can't carry on anymore like this?
Yeah, I admit when before it doesn't affect me so much now. But when people were slating my centre off, the centre HAPRC is my baby.
Yeah.
And Jane's the same. We will protect the centre with our life, because we know we're doing something good and we know we're doing it right. And when somebody attacks that, it does hurt. It's like somebody attacking your own child, really.
Yeah.
So that did hurt, and I did question sometimes, is it worth it? But Jane sort of slapped me around the face and said, "Come on, get on with it." And I dust myself down, and we just move on.
That's right. I mean, end of the day, for someone in a way who does it for the love of doing it rather than someone does it for money, I mean, the incentive is there. I mean, the incentive may be there for money, but you tend to find where money's involved, the quality is not as good.
Oh yeah, money does make a difference, and also I think the biggest problem is ego.
Yeah.
There's a lot of egos out there, but with me and my guys, there's no ego at all. What you see is what you get. We will just say our opinion. If you don't like our opinion, that's fine. I just think, if just because we disagree on something, don't fall out, because
Exactly.
it ain't worth it, is it?
No, that's a war start.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're so petty to not be able to see beyond that, I mean, it's like people have said with aliens, if aliens do ever visit us, I mean, they're going to think to us, if they can't sort their own issues out, we've no chance of them, have we?
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
it does seem we're still savages and animals when it comes down to it. We just dress smartly. That's the only difference.
That's right. Yeah, we're not progressed at all.
No, haven't, have we? I mean, you think human evolution from day one, we've always been a violent race.
Yeah. No, we've not evolved at all.
No, we've devolved, if anything.
Yeah.
I mean, you've been, would it, have you actually come close to thinking, I've had enough?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I won't say who with, but yeah, it's and also you got to watch these teams with a huge following, haven't you?
Yeah, that's true.
I don't personally. I don't understand why they got a huge following, because they are, to me, I wouldn't give them the time of day. But they have a huge following, and whatever they say, this following says, yeah. I've been really slated by one team, and with their followers, they was leaving me bad reviews. Have never even been to the centre. They were calling me all sorts, and I think, oh, I can't be bothered with this.
No, that is totally. I mean, let's say, but at the end of the day, if anything, it's like I said, these big teams. I mean, because their main agenda is to get followers and likes and whatever these stars are.
You know, they just, especially with Facebook now, it's all these stars and all this sort of crap.
I don't understand them stars. To be, I mean, I wouldn't even know where to start with them.
No, I've got no interest in that sort of thing.
No, the only last time I saw stars was a Mario Kart. I mean, I mean, it's like you've had some rough times, Neil. What is it? What keeps you? What is it, or who is it? What keeps you going?
I think it's the residents of the centre and the centre. I think the centre is, in my opinion, the centre is amazing. And what we're doing at the centre is amazing, because we're changing everyone's thoughts on the whole thing, because we read things. Well, I don't read things. Jane reads things, and then we sort of make our own mind up. And because we've got the centre and we can research properly, we can spend time doing experiments and doing things that a lot of other people can't.
Yeah. I mean, in your defence, Neil, I mean, I know you've got a lot of friends and a lot of followers. I mean, you are doing something right, Neil. It does say like, tracks like. I mean, by doing that, you can tell you're following for a start. The people who follow you are there for the right reasons. I mean, I've looked through your groups. I've been on some of your shows before today, and the people I've interacted through yourself, Neil. You can tell there's an essence about it. There's a sense we all share that camaraderie. If there's no negativity there towards you, your museum, to any of your shows. They're there for a reason, aren't they?
Oh yeah, I know. When we first started the live feeds channel, that was at the start of the lockdown, so it's a long time ago since we started. So that was just get to people together and meeting new people, you know. And we do the para meet twice a year.
Yeah.
So people can see the lesser known people in the field who spend a lot of time doing what they do, which is fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, Kathy Adams has just commented, it's an incredibly unique place and fascinating place to visit.
Oh, thank you, Kathy.
Which I agree, because when I say when me and got a little invite, I mean, is it about 2 or 3 years back now? We had ours.
Yeah, I opened special for you and Beth, didn't I?
Yeah, exactly. I appreciate that. We had a lovely day out there. I mean, at the time, you had things that fascinate me about what you had in that place. I mean, you had a World War II German helmet. Which, I mean, I do have a thing for World War II. I was drawn to that. You have your wheelchair.
Yeah.
I mean, these items you have you actually donated, or do you source them yourself?
At the start, I bought them, or members of the team bought them. But I'm finding quite now, as the centre's getting more well known, a lot of people do donate objects that they don't want in the house any longer.
Yeah.
So it's probably about 50-50 now, I imagine.
Yeah. Have you got to? I mean, I'm opening my location up soon. I mean, I'm getting donated a few things. I mean, do you ever actually get things donated to yourself, thinking they just want to get rid of it? There's no paranormalness about it. I mean, you got to be diplomatic in how you accept or reject an item. Do you ever come across items where people's just trying to get rid of something?
Yeah. I they do tend to be haunted dolls.
Yes,
I must admit, because there seems to be a big thing about haunted dolls. Possibly from the Conjuring, the films. And
Annabelle
they say, it's demonic. The favourite saying at the minute, it's demonic. And you know what I think about that sort of thing. And I say, okay, then we'll take it off you. And they'll say, you've got to be really careful with it. It's really, really bad. I said, no, okay, we're professional. We know what we're doing. And when we get it, the first thing, any item that we get, the first thing I do is give it to Jane so Jane can see what she picks up from it. Most time, there's nothing to it.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean to say there isn't something to it. So it does go into the centre. And so it is available for people to do their work on. No, I don't just disregard anything, because obviously the person who sent it to me feels there's something to it.
Yeah.
Just because we don't feel it.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree there, because I mean, a few years back, I mean, I've been in the public eye now about 5-6 years now, because I mean, I did everything myself years ago, but I kept myself. Well, I wasn't a big fan of Facebook or none of this live streaming. It was basically did it for myself. Went out with 35mm camera, took photographs, but not really cute. I've collected a library of books. I've got a vast library, and I have been offered items. I've got a couple of clowns. I mean, I'll show you them, Neil. Still got them in here. He's going downstairs in my den.
I know you clowns.
Yeah, Obo and Tinker. Yeah. Now, I was given these from a lady many years ago who does car boot sales. Now, I thought she was just trying to get rid of stock, but she had a lot more stock than 2 clowns. So why just get rid of 2 items? That's not going to make a lot of difference. But she told me a dog went berserk. They didn't like it. They seemed to every time she walked into the room where they were, they seemed to give an aura off them. She felt something. Now, I've had them the last few years, and we seem quite happy they're together in here. And it's like I say, is it location? Is it something? I mean, it could have been location. We don't know. It could have been. It might have been just something in the atmosphere around her. She might have sensed something. It's like when people walk into a room with after an argument. It's sensible.
Oh yeah, definitely. You can.
Yeah, and they can see, they can take, and dogs. I mean, now dogs and cats are so sensitive. I mean, it's. I guess it's similar to these guys. I've got a few other items. I've got a pair of spectacles as well, which Victorian spectacles, which I do love these actually. I don't know if you've ever seen these, Neil. I mean, these proper Victorian reading gentlemen's glasses.
Yeah.
I mean, those are personal to somebody, but when I accumulate them at 1835, I believe is dated on packet. But the spooky thing about it is, though, when I acquired them, I mean, I wear glasses myself. And I put them on, and I can see perfect through them, and they have prescription glasses.
Yeah,
it's as though they're made for me. I mean, it does seem they're made to come my way. Do you feel items in your collection are made to come towards yourself, Neil?
But definitely 100%. And I think you will find the same now you get in a collection.
Yeah.
I do believe the spirit does know what we're doing. And if a particular spirit who's connected to an item wants to get to the center, it could be from one person to another, and then to me. But they will find the way, and I've got no doubts whatsoever on that one.
I mean, it's something I've seen something before. I mean, furniture, I love tables and things like old furniture, and you see something. And it's like anything you see yourself. We've all got items we like and we dislike, and we think, why choose that over that? You seem to be drawn to it. It's they call it personal taste. I don't know what it is, but whatever it is, they are meant to be there for a reason, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely, no doubt.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, in your opinion, Neil, I mean, what will it take as a whole for the old panel adventure to actually be able to see as one? Will we ever get to the stage everyone sings off the same hymn sheet?
No. The simple answer is no. I wish we could, but while there's ego out there and people seeing the paranormal as a quick penny, and there won't be, there is too much backbiting, there is too much jealousy. I think there's the small pockets of para-unity, if you want to use that word. Which is great. But I think we've all got small pockets, which is good. You've got your small pocket. We've got another small pocket, and it is growing. But there are some teams who've got no interest. They might say they're interested in the para-unity, but they haven't. They've got their own agenda. And nothing will take them away from their agenda.
Do you think social media is to blame for this?
They've got a lot of responsibility. Yeah, social media. I've just recently started a newsletter, as you know, Barry.
Yeah.
That's because I'm sick to death of Facebook. I
Yeah.
know I'm on Facebook now, but it really does my head in. It's controlling what you can show. It's controlling what you can do, and you know me, I don't like being controlled. And I work at the centre, so we do what we want to do.
Yeah.
What we think is right at that time, we will do it. So I want to come away from social media. I know I can't fully because I need it for the centre.
Yeah.
Hence the idea of the newsletter. So instead of being on Facebook every day of the week saying what we're doing, that goes on into the newsletter, which gets emailed to the people who sign up for it. It's free to subscribe to. Once a month, I just send it out to the latest newsletter, and you can read some interesting things about us, some interesting things about what we're doing, and events that are coming up.
That's brilliant. I mean, how can people interested acquire this information? I mean, this monthly letter.
You just private message me on Facebook. Don't put your email address onto the Facebook wall, because you don't want to give your email. You don't want to give your email address out on Facebook, because there's a lot of nutters on Facebook, as you know. Just private message me either to 100 Antiques. We've got quite a few pages on Facebook, so just private message me on any of them with your email address, and I'll send it out to you.
Yeah, I mean, I think as well with regard to social media, like I said myself, I'm still not a big fan of social media. It's that double-edged sword. I mean, it's necessary evil, in my opinion. I mean, we need it, but we don't need it. I mean, how do we fare without it? I mean, I think we could revert back to certain ways. Like you said, you've got your following, you've got people who know you, people who know how you work and your attributes. So I think word of mouth as well would be a strong part. If Facebook went down tomorrow, I don't think you'd struggle.
No, like I said, eventually I would like to come off Facebook.
Yeah,
totally. I'm not interested in having 100,000 followers on Facebook at all. I'm not interested in having 2,000 people watch every video I do. That doesn't bother me, because I just want people who are genuinely interested in what we're doing at the centre to watch what we do.
Yeah.
So eventually the newsletter will be how people keep up to date what we're doing. But I'm different, because I've got the centre and I've got teams booked in every weekend the whole of this year. So I meet different people anyway.
Yeah.
So social media isn't the be all and end all.
No, it's not, is it? I mean, if anything, I mean, I said I'm not a big. I mean, I love talking to people. I mean, I could talk for years and years and years.
Yeah.
You know, we did a radio show before this, and I thought I've done my own with Tom. Now onto my own format, and I mean, I don't care. 12 people watch it, 20 people watch it, 1,000 people watch it. I do it because I love talking to people.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I think that people realise that as well. You don't need, like I say, you don't need a mass following. I think that's what causes the egos. That's what causes the problems.
Yeah. Okay, I admit it would be nice if more people did watch.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because that would mean more people are interested in what we're doing. But it's not the end of the world if, like you say, if only 12 people watch. That's fine. At least as long as those 12 people enjoy what we're doing, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm also looking at a different way of doing shows like this as well, but that's at an early stage.
Yeah, I mean, Jamie Rowley just said the same thing. I mean, I'll put a picture for you. We meet so many teams and we come to investigate. It's so much better to talk to people face to face, and we do keep in touch afterwards. I mean, Paranormal in that respect is brilliant for that kind of thing, for keeping like-minded people together. Because as you know, on these ghost hunts, people going. I've been on public ghost hunts before. I've been on quite a few. I've been on a I've even been in one in disguise, believe it or not. It's a bit strange, that one. That's another story. I went undercover. And but like I said, a lot of these people do have their own particular favourite groups or locations they go to all the time. I mean, one of my locations, which is around the corner, is Doncaster Aircraft Museum. I love that place. I've been a few times. I mean, not because it's local. I feel familiar with that place. I think, if anything, if the spirits know anybody, they know me. And I do get responses. And I think we're the same with people with groups, and they'll get a follow a certain group. It doesn't matter where they go. If they go to the same location, they'll go
Yeah,
out following. They feel like they belong there, and they feel they
yeah,
can trust those individuals.
yeah. The paranormal. I know we're sort of bringing the paranormal down a little bit, but having said that, the vast majority of people I've met since the centre's been open have been amazing people, and I have made lots of new friends because of the
Yeah,
centre
yeah.
in the paranormal. So it's not all doom and gloom. I don't want the viewers to think that.
Oh no, it's not. No, definitely not.
The vast majority of people we've met at the centre are amazing people, and they talk to you like they know you, like
Yeah.
you're a mate, and that's nice. I have people come up to me, says, "Hi Neil, how you doing?" I thought, I can't remember your face, sorry.
And
Which is not, well, it's not nice that I can't remember them, but we do meet so many. Um, but I just make a joke out of it. I say, "Oh, sorry, it's my age," and I
it's
get
like
away
me.
with it.
I'm brilliant with faces, crap my names.
Oh, I tend to call everybody mate, so it's
Yeah,
an easy
yeah.
cop out, isn't it?
Exactly. Well, I know what you mean, because I mean, with like I said, we're coming to your location, mine soon. Any ghost hunt people attend. With people of our genre, who like the paranormal. I mean, Beth said it in her shop as well. You get people coming in and thinking this might sound strange to you, but I
Mm,
mean, and we always say in the shop, nothing sounds strange.
mm.
I mean, that's why a lot of people, I believe, are reluctant to come forward as well, because what
Yeah,
they
yeah,
believe might be strange. They might think it's strange, but how they see it, but they're trying to emphasize it to someone else, and they're trying to word it the best way they possibly can without it being too strange.
yeah, yeah.
At least with,
Yeah. I know when we first opened, and we had some people, and we spent hours talking about fairies.
yeah,
Where else could you go and have a proper conversation about fairies? Because and I firmly believe in them now. I've
yeah,
met lots of people, especially Jane is a big believer in the fae. I've met Kate Ray. She's an interesting guest to have on sometime,
yeah,
Barry.
yeah.
Um, Fantastic people, and some of the things they say is you think, oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I mean, it is. It's you'll get onto this conversation regarding. I mean, as you know, a paranormal. It's not just ghosts. It's not just
No,
aliens or
no,
UFOs. It's cryptozoology or it's fairies.
yeah, yeah,
There's a massive umbrella. No matter 21 in the field, nothing is too strange. If someone
no,
comes up to you thinking this might sound strange, you know they're not used to talking to people from our world.
yeah, that's right.
And like I said with the fairies, I mean, me and Bess had conversations with people regarding fairies and digested biscuits. I mean, how can you put them two together?
Yeah, yeah, it's a huge subject, and we can talk about it all day, can't we?
Exactly. Now, we say Kathy Adams has put my daughter's friends love the conversation we're having in our houses.
Yeah, it's
Another
good.
one, Neil. I think we might have covered this a little bit previously, but Caroline May has where do you buy the stuff to go into your museum, Neil?
I will tend to go to. I like looking around antique centres anyway.
Yeah,
And obviously the centre is sponsored by Sims Vintage Antique Centre, so
yeah,
I do get a lot of stuff from Phil at the Sims, and also Phil's got friends who are in the antique business. So if they've come across anything weird and out there, they'll send me pictures, and if I want to buy it, I'll buy it. Even car boot sales, I don't
yeah.
buy a lot from car boot sales, but having said that, last weekend I bought an American World War II helmet.
Ooh,
Jane has already picked up something around it, so and I was drawn to it, so that's another interesting item.
no, let's see.
I
That's something
don't,
I'd definitely be interested in.
yeah, you'll like the war room now, Barry.
Yeah. Yeah, I must admit, I mean, I've got a contact in a local antiques business as well.
Yeah,
It's not David Dickinson, but I mean, he knows his stuff. I mean, it
yeah,
does make it fun though, doesn't it? I mean, question I did have for you, Neil. It's an extra question I've sneaked in. I mean,
okay,
what about psychometry and things attached to people and things, essences on things? I mean, charity shops. I mean, I'm a big supporter of charity shops.
yeah,
I love the places. I mean, it's not just a case of it's not good. It's no good. I mean, you get some beautiful things in these charity shops.
mm,
I mean, these charities need all the help they can get. I mean,
yeah.
I wonder why aren't charity shops haunted?
They possibly
Yeah.
are, and they possibly are. I go to quite a few charity shops, and there is some interesting stuff. You do have to be careful what you buy in these second-hand shops or charity shops or
Yeah.
car boot sales. Because I think probably a lot of items will have some energy around them.
Oh, exactly. Agree. No, I mean, let's say we've got a familiar name here. You'll probably know this reprobate, Jacqueline Dixon. She's a
Oh yeah, she's lovely,
I
Jackie.
mean, yeah, I mean, like I said, I mean, quite another regarding charity. I mean, a lot of people, unfortunately, are a bit, I won't say stuck upish or snobbish, but we won't go to charity shops. And for whatever reason, it's their own personal beliefs or whatever. I mean, like I said, I do support these places, and we need all the help we can get, and money mostly goes to good causes.
Yeah.
I mean, but if an item, for example, you bought an item for yourself personally, Neil, not for a museum, if you knew of its history and its previous owner, and you knew what happened to them, would you still buy it? Would it have an effect on if you bought it or not?
I would definitely buy it if I thought there's something around it. I'd buy it. It wouldn't bother me. Depends how you feel around it. I think if it's something negative around it, you'll feel it anyway.
I mean, anything from a pair of shoes to a wristwatch. I mean, I collect wristwatches.
To be honest, it can be anything. I remember when we first started, when I was on ITV this morning. Philip Schofield said the items are all really nice, but why is there nothing modern? Why is it all old? What we have that our newest item in the center is, these baby night lights you get.
Yes. Yeah.
We have a baby night light that's, as soon as you switch it on, a spirit will come towards it. So it could be anything. Who would think when you put a night light on for your baby, that could be attracting a spirit?
I mean, I do agree with that, because I mean, one little experiment I'm playing with downstairs in my den is UV lighting. And I've got a little particular area set up for these experiments I'm conducting. And people do believe, like I said, resonance, not just sound, but visual as well, like light spectrum. As you know, we've got the light spectrum is not more than we can see. We've got one end infrared, with our vision, we've got UV. And we only see a small fraction of it. If we could broaden our eyesight, for example, we might obviously see more. So I do have an experiment in place regarding UV lighting. But it's like anything else. I mean, technology for a start. I mean, I think if anything, technology is a reason we're not moving forward.
Yeah. I don't use a lot of technical equipment. We do use some because people do like, for example, the spirit box. I personally hate them because the noise does my head in.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So when we do use, well, like we did on the feed last night, when we do use it, the people, Amy and Jane did it. They had headphones on, so I couldn't hear it. So it's fine. I don't use a lot of modern equipment. I like dowsing rods personally and pendulums.
Best way that.
So I quite like that. They're easy. I haven't got to think about them.
Yeah, less distracting as well, I believe. I mean, I don't even see my K2 I've got. I mean, everyone in the paranormal world knows what a K2 is.
Yeah.
I mean, some people love. I mean, I prefer the good old-fashioned compass. Now, I don't even see my K2 deal. I mean, this is what my son bought me a few years back.
Yeah.
It looks like a normal K2.
Yeah.
But it's not. It actually died a death a while back, so I turned it into a music box.
All right.
Yeah, and it actually does play. If you can hear it or not.
Yeah.
And now that is an item. I won't shut up now. Now that's an item everyone recognises from paranormal world.
Yeah.
But then again, a spirit, if there is any intelligence behind them, they're going to see that and think, I don't recognise it. They're more inclined to trap themselves to something they will recognise. Like you said, the light is warming and welcoming.
Yeah.
When we do a pass over, if there's a light there at the end of a tunnel, they're going to think that's for them.
Yeah.
Definitely. Now, Neil, HAPRC, or the Haunted Antiques Paranormal Research Centre. Now, I mean, from its early days to what it's become today, I mean, what was the intention behind its creation? Was it for your own interests, or was it another I won't say motive involved, but was there other intentions behind its creation?
Right from day one, my intentions was for my own personal journey. I believe the centre is my journey, and it's Jane's journey. Obviously,
Yeah,
it's my journey. I used to go to lots of different haunted locations, like everyone probably does.
yeah,
And I get very bored very quickly. So driving 3 hours, going around a building, then driving 3 hours back, getting back at 6 o'clock in the morning.
yeah,
That's not me. Because that seems a lot of hard work for me.
yeah. I agree
So
there.
the centre originally was for my own benefit and Jane's benefit, so Jane can develop what she's doing with her mediumship.
Yeah,
But obviously, when we started having teams in, I only opened it to paranormal teams, not the venue
yeah,
groups.
yeah,
But having the building and buying new items, it does take a lot of money. So that's when I started letting venue groups in. So now we share our journey with the paranormal teams. But essentially, the centre is our journey.
yeah. I think Caroline May Sandbrooks is commenting. She said, Bernardo's is haunted. A spirit threw a box at me upstairs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've got no doubts.
yeah,
Most charity shops will have a spirit there.
yeah, yeah. I say if it's not the building itself, because my daughter she volunteered in a couple of charity shops a few years back, and the first one we did have a character named Frank, and he used to
Mm,
he used to knock about in the storeroom behind, switching the lights on and off. It
mm,
wasn't a malicious character; we just got used to him being there.
yeah,
But I mean, one thing, Neil. I mean, like you said before, like I said, you have never claimed that anything in your museum is haunted. I mean, that's very
no.
credible of you to say that. I mean, but what I'd like to know, why is haunted in the title of Haunted Antiques?
Um, that's how it started. I was looking for haunted antiques with spirits attached to them.
Yeah,
Because it was new to me. Um, and as we've been going along, I've now know that just because an item has got an energy around it doesn't mean to say it's haunted.
yeah,
It's just got energy around it.
exactly. I agree,
Um,
man.
and it sounds a bit cool. I know it's a bit long-winded, haunted antique. It wasn't actually my idea for the name, but it is a bit long-winded. That's why we just tend to say the centre or
Yeah,
HAPRC.
yeah. It's like me with a den. It's so easy to say, rolls off the
Yeah.
tongue. And like yourself, Neil, I mean, you see, we've all been to these locations, spent miles and miles, and come back at 4 o'clock in the morning. I mean, at least this way, it's a location you can control as well.
Yeah. Yeah, we know we are very lucky to have the centre.
Yeah,
It is a special building, not just because of what we've done, but it also helps with our intent. As far as I'm concerned, as far as Jane's concerned, and Amy and Ant now, who are team members, as far as we're concerned, our intent is right, and
yeah,
we're doing it for the right reasons. Okay, the centre is now my job. So I am making a living from it. So I'm very, very lucky.
yeah.
But it is sometimes it is very hard work.
I can imagine. I mean, say my place isn't open yet, but I'm hoping to do a similar. Like, I mean, I'm with my den. It's not based on items what may or may not have history. Which there will be a few items down there, but I'm looking
Yeah,
more towards the methodology towards ghost hunting,
yeah,
and looking more the old school ways to it. So there will be
yeah,
a platform. There will be items down there, but it's not going to be based. It's not going to be solely on character in beliefs on items which I may have or I may not have attachment. The way we conduct ourselves on paranormal investigations and looking more old school. I mean, if people want to use technology, but I will let them do that. I mean,
yeah.
what works for one might not necessarily work for another. So do what you feel best to do. But I mean, it's been a few years since I paid a visit to your centre, Neil. But
Yeah.
since that time, it's moved on leaps and bounds. I mean, since my visit last, I was the centre evolved. I mean, more so, with interesting articles you've acquired. Is there anything up and coming you might got your eye on?
Well, it's evolved because we've got the whole building now. When you came, I just had the second floor.
Yeah,
Now we've got the whole building, so we've got the first floor as well. So, for example, the war items were in the main room because the tea room was upstairs.
Yes.
Now we've got a special war room, and we've got an Anderson shelter in there, which is special.
I've seen that. Yes, I've seen you post a few a while back about those. I mean, how do you acquire that?
Well, it was actually Amy says an Anderson shelter would be perfect for the war room. So I said, yeah, it would. So I searched and I found one. It was from Guildford, so I had to hire a van and drove down to Guildford to pick it up. And we are doing an experiment in the Anderson shelter. I'm not saying what the experiment is, but we are doing an experiment and it's ongoing.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. You know, we know what we know about the Anderson shelter, but we don't tend to tell people about the items. You know, I won't say a man's attached to that item or a woman's attached to that.
Yes. Yeah.
We want people to say, come to us during the night and say, oh, I've just had the name Bob connected to that item. And we can say, yeah, tell me a bit more. And at the end of the night, I can say, yeah, we've had that before. So that gets recorded. So you can imagine our record book now is getting quite huge. But I don't want to sway people's minds.
No. I agree with what you're doing there. I agree with what you're doing there because, like you said, by planting about information, that's the seed. That gives them something to work off. So there's that it's not implanted. So what they believe they're experiencing is that. But like I said, if by not giving them that seed in the first place, any conclusion they come up with, you calibrate it with somebody else's, and there's a pattern. You do know, don't you?
Yeah, that's it. You know, for example, you go to 30s Drive, you know the Black Monk. So you are going to associate every noise. Personally, I don't like 30s Drive, but that's my personal opinion. But you're going to associate, oh, it's the Black Monk shadow, or it's the Black Monk this. If you didn't know about the Black Monk, would you actually say those words, Black Monk?
Exactly. It's like people on these ghost hunting shows and that. They'll take a medium down to begin with. And the medium will say, I've got a gentleman in a green suit. All that evening, you're going to look for a gentleman with a green suit on. And then if you experience with that guy in a green suit, which I think is the wrong way to do it. Let's say with East Drive, I mean, I lived a couple of miles from there as a child. I know people living on the corner from that location. I mean, things do happen, but to the extent they claim, it's a different story altogether. I'm not going to disrespect the place by all means, because I might have them on the show one day. But that's not what I'm about. If someone says to me, I've seen a ghost, I will not say you haven't. If you've experienced something, it's personal to yourself. I mean, I or no one's qualified enough to say you haven't. I mean, that's a problem. That's a problem with this field at the moment. People think they have got authority over other people to say what they can and can't experience.
Yeah, we found that just lately as well.
Yeah, I mean, Neil. I mean, I say at the Anderson shelter. I mean, you mentioned. I mean, I'm not going to ask you how much it cost you. I mean, was this a specialist site you bought it off? Or was it just off?
No, it's just come from a guy's back garden.
Yeah. I mean, you can imagine, because if anywhere's going to have some kind of attachment or some kind of essence about it. I mean, I've spent time in Anderson shelter before, obviously not during war days, but in these things, they're not that secure, really. And think you've got £1,000 bombs dropping over your head, a little bit of tin. There could be fear, there could be stress, could be strain, tension. That's all going to get dispersed somewhere, hasn't it?
Yeah. Obviously, our Anderson shelter wasn't hit. Because it's still intact.
Yeah, but there's still got fear, isn't it? There's that fear of being it, isn't there?
It's the emotions that people experience. You know, I couldn't imagine what they went through.
No, I don't think anybody's good.
Until you do something, you don't know how you're going to react.
No.
But it is a special item, and it's made so much difference to the war room.
I think best way to look at it, Neil. If people say, oh, I'd do this, I'd do that. It's a fight or flight situation. But how many people walk past the street and a car exhaust backfired? How many people have jumped? It's the same kind of thing. You think, oh yeah. Ideally, it makes you jump. I mean, it's a similar kind of thing. I mean, Neil, out of all your items, I mean, what item intrigues you the most and why?
The most intriguing one is the big frac mirror in the sound room.
Yeah, we'll ask about that in a minute.
That is a special item. We do actually know what's the other side of it because Jane's astral projected into it. We do intend to do that experiment again, and I'm going to go into the mirror with her.
Yeah.
Which I admit it does scare me.
Which
but
does
the mirror
link perfectly. That does link perfectly to my next question. This is perfect.
Okay.
We could have planned this more perfectly. I mean, mirrors. Let's talk about mirrors. I mean, this one in particular. I mean, I pronounce it. Forgive me if I mispronounce this. Mercurius and the shattered mirror.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, I mean, what prompted you to put pen to paper regarding this mirror? When if this is an item everyone has in their houses, I mean, why this particular mirror?
I think mirrors are special anyway. I think you need to be careful where you buy mirrors. Well, obviously, I wouldn't buy a mirror from an antique shop or charity shop for my house. I would for the centre, because I do believe that there can be doorways and portals.
Yeah.
But what prompted me to write the book was I started when the centre first opened, actually, and it took me that long. Because, like I say, I'm a bit lazy. I'm a bloke.
I think we all are, aren't we?
I'm a bloke. I'm lazy. But in the first lockdown, I had nothing to do, so I wrote it.
That sounds familiar. That's a familiar story there, Neil.
Yeah.
I mean, speaking of mirrors, I mean, you probably can't see on my shoulder, but there's one right behind me, a tall one, behind my mask. Now, that one came from an antique stall. It's antique shop in Cleethorpes, and it does have a story, but I'm not going to say what it is yet. But when people do visit me, then it's there waiting for them. I mean, it's such a night. I mean, now your book, Neil, Mercurius and the Shattered Mirror. For anyone intrigued, what's its availability? I mean, how can people copy?
Mercurius and the Shattered Mirror. You can buy it from Amazon, but you can also buy it direct from me. If you buy it from me, I will sign it for you. So I'll personalize it for you, and it's the same price on Amazon. It's £8, but you'll have to pay postage if I send it out to you, which is a couple of quid, I think it is.
Yeah. I mean, Caroline May Sandbrooks, who just said, "I've just bought your book, but I've no time to read it yet."
Yeah, I know. I've just posted Caroline's the other week, so.
I mean, to many, it means many things, but to you, Neil, what does the word haunted actually mean?
Well, when I say haunted, it means the spirit attached to the item.
Yeah.
Like I say, most of the items are probably at the centre aren't actually haunted as such, but they've got energy and spirits do like being around them.
Yeah. I mean, personally, I think, let's say, so mention the word haunted, and people automatically assume ghosts and spirits and hauntings. I mean, personally, I think it means to be burdened. I mean, we all can be haunted by things, haunted by thoughts. We could be haunted by regret, misdeeds. I mean, haunted doesn't have to necessarily mean haunted. I mean, in a spiritual way, is it? I mean,
that's right.
I mean, we all know people take a lot from a paranormal, Neil, but I mean, it could be entertainment, knowledge, even friendship. But in return, what does the paranormal take from us?
Good question. I can only talk my own personal experience from the centre. I think the spirits, I like to call them the residents of the centre, know us.
Yeah.
So they have become like friends.
Yeah.
I know at least two of the children's spirits from the centre do come down my house and they do play. And they turn the taps on, that sort of thing. I know they're only playing, especially during the lockdown, because we've not been up. The centre. So I do think the ones at the centre are like our family, and when we go in, we say hello to them.
Yeah.
Which is only right. You go into someone's house and you'll say hello. You don't walk in and ignore them.
Yeah, I'm a bit like that downstairs in my den. It's I've had a few issues. I've had a few things happen down there, but I'm not going to say what. It is an old building, and we believe it used to be a butcher's. And but I'm not going to give people too much information regarding that. But
best way.
I go downstairs and I say hello, everybody. I mean, I've got two statues. what do you call statues? Mannequins. And I come. I mean, we were in Beth's shop, and one's called Frank, one's called Margaret. And I name them accordingly. Morning Frank, morning Margaret. Or I'm going now. Bye.
Yeah.
It gives that essence of somewhere belonging, doesn't it, as well? And if a spirit does catch on to that, they'll think they'll belong there. They feel like it's somewhere safe for them to be.
Yeah. Well, people have asked me, well, a couple of people said it's wrong what we're doing at the centre, saying it's wrong for us to contain spirits in the building. And I said, we don't contain anything.
No.
If they want to go, they'll go. Or if they want to move to the light, we'll ask Jane to help them move into the light if they can't do it themselves. So no spirit is contained at the centre against their will.
No, I mean,
they've
in
got
a
free
way, I
will.
don't think anyone has the power to really do that. Anyhow, I mean, if
No.
if a spirit wants to go or stay,
They'll go.
it's his own decision, really.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, you can't say it's like somebody living in you put somebody into a room, you can't say to somebody, you stay there. They're
No,
not going to stay there, but just leg it, aren't they?
no, of course they
Yeah,
will. They got
it's
free
same
will.
with, exactly, it's same with spirits. I mean,
They go where they want.
exactly. And if you try and shackle somebody, all you're going to get is grief and
Yeah.
I grow back. I mean, you're going to get notifications. You're going to get things happening. That's where the negativity starts.
Yeah.
You try like people with exorcisms and stuff. I won't say open-minded. I'm very skeptical with the word exorcism. But like you said, I mean, can somebody really be forcibly a spirit to go? It's like saying to a person at the supermarket, "You go. You're not welcome here."
Yeah.
It's the same kind of thing. I mean, in your opinion, Neil, I mean, are people too eager to dismiss what people consider paranormal?
Oh yeah. I think perhaps it's a man thing. I think if they all through the ages, men have always had the answer to every problem. But now all of a
we
sudden
cause them all. That's why
they don't have an answer, so they're a bit. They sort of shut off to it.
yeah.
But yeah, I think there's a lot of paranormal things happening around people that they just won't accept.
I mean, I do have a question, Neil, regarding you probably an observation, and this is an observation I'm going to put into play as well. I mean, regarding male, I won't say man versus woman because I'm not making it a competition, but do you find differences between male investigators and female investigators?
Yeah, I think men are more skeptical than women. You just have to find the center ground, don't you?
Yeah.
We've had some people in the center. Every bang, every tap is paranormal. And I said, well, no, it is an old bit. I've got a photo of the building from 1878, so it is an old building.
Yeah.
And then with some men, they could see a shadow walk straight across the face, and they'll say, "Oh no, that was somebody down the other end of the room causing the shadow." So they won't accept it. It's like the door opening. We've got a door that opens on its own quite regular.
Yeah.
And we've tried everything to reproduce it, and they still won't accept it. It was the wind from the house 3 doors down the road closing the door.
I mean, if anything, many people have said this. I mean, once you've eliminated the normal, that's when it becomes paranormal. And like I say, with your door, if you cannot fathom a viable explanation to why it's opening and closing, that's when you look at the paranormal side of it.
Yeah. And just because it's paranormal doesn't mean to say it's spirit doing it. It's just we can't explain it.
Psychokinesis, even.
Yeah, it could be lots of different things. It doesn't mean to say it was a spirit or a ghost doing it. It could have been some freak atmospheric condition. I don't know, but it's not normal.
Yeah. That's when the power. I mean, power doesn't necessarily mean spiritual, does it?
No.
I mean, would you say it's fair to say people's perception towards the paranormal? I won't say is it wrong or is it misconceived?
I think I like to see the paranormal as very personal. If you have an experience, but no one else experiences it, that is your experience. And I think I like to look at the paranormal as personal. If you're happy with it being paranormal, that's fine.
Yeah. I mean, I'm in my old house I used to live in. 5 of us in the living room. The old brass handles with a springy effect. We had one of them in everyone in the living room, the front door locked. One of them literally went down in its own. We all saw it. I thought, there's nobody in the house who can do that. I mean, was that a combined kinetic energy? We don't know. Was it a spirit? We just don't know. I mean, to be honest with you, I didn't even look into it because my kids were small at the time. So I didn't really want to scare them, you see. I mean, a lot of these people out there, unfortunately, would love to go into a house like that and claim demons and whatnots. But I'm not like that. I mean, I'd rather do an investigation when it was in bed quietly, if anything. Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, what would you say is needed, Neil, to make things clearer for those involved in a paranormal? I mean, I won't say to make everyone see off the same hymn sheet, but we need some kind of level ground, don't we, to begin with, before we can start building the foundations again.
Yeah. Personally, I don't think it wouldn't be a good thing for us all to sing off the same hymn sheet anyway, because we're human. We have to think differently from everyone else anyway. I don't believe there should be a governing body.
No.
I know quite a few people said there should be a governing body, but that would never ever work.
And because the reason why that would never work is because there's no one qualified enough to govern.
No.
No.
And plus, who's going to govern? Is it going to be someone from a paranormal team? Because if there is, they're biased
the TV
straight away.
personality, yeah.
TV personality, yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't think there should be a governing body. It's just respect everybody and accept that we're all on a different journey.
Yeah.
And the fakery does me head in, obviously.
Yeah.
And like I say, ego, I hate it with a vengeance.
Yeah, exactly. I'm in your corner there, Neil. I mean, if I decided I had an ego, I won't be doing this. I mean, this is for my benefit. This is for my benefit.
Yeah, and TV is. I think they ought to just take all the shows off TV. Investigation shows, because these groups now just want to be on TV.
I think as well, Neil, with TV as well. I think we're having fads. I mean, years ago, you had the old movies on Frankenstein, then you had vampires, you had ghosts, you had werewolves. It does seem to be like a genre. They go through a certain system, like neck ghosts, then demons, and it goes around full circle again. I mean, when do we start seeing mummies and vampires on these?
Oh, we will. The best paranormal show I ever watched on British TV was a series many years ago called Great British Ghosts with Michaela Strachan.
I used to love that. Brilliant.
Fantastic show.
Because she never investigated, did she? She talked to people who actually experienced these accounts.
She just talked about it and showed us the location, and I thought I enjoyed that show. I was disappointed when it only had 2 series, I think.
It was, because I have got both of series, and believe it or not, Beth got me the second series from the States because she couldn't get it in the UK.
No, I've looked, I couldn't get it in the UK. That was fantastic.
It was brilliant. I mean, I must admit, I'm with you there. I mean, that if anybody's not heard of Great British Ghosts, look on eBay and stuff like that. You will find it. Just make sure if you're UK bound, make sure you get version 2 if you buy it from the States, because it's a phenomenal series. It's not over the top. It's not done to us. It's not belittling. It's basically people doing that. She's going around locations. Normally a couple of times an episode, weren't it?
Yeah, that's it.
And she talked to the occupants or whatnot, and some of these stories, phenomenal stories.
That was a brilliant show. I think they should just take investigation shows off TV, but that's
I agree with it. I should agree with it. Now, Neil, I've got a quick what if for you. This is a little section I'm not quite fully created yet. Basically, the question based on a notion of the answer being neither left nor right. Now, what I'd like your thoughts, Neil, is what if in the UK estate agents had disclosed whether or not a property was actually haunted or not? I mean, would this affect sales in your opinion?
I think it probably would do, but I don't think it's a good idea. Because who's going to be qualified to say that house is haunted? Because you all take your own spirits with you anyway. We've all got spirit guides, so your house is haunted anyway, or your house has got spirits in it anyway. So, and
I mean, the reason I asked you that, because I have found out in a few states in America, their version of estate agents do have to declare that.
Yeah, I've heard that.
The problem being, by doing that, you are going to get the wrong kind of neighbour, aren't you?
Yeah. I just think that's very dangerous, especially in the States, because everything's demonic over the States, from what I can tell. So as soon as you say that's haunted, they've got some demon there. So you got some special people who are going to buy it, didn't you?
Yeah, definitely. Now, Neil, we have not got much longer left because I'm off to pay a trip to the A&E. But I mean, HAPRC. I mean, what's next for the centre? I mean, how do you see things stay in 5 years' time?
Oh, good question. hopefully the centre will still be there.
Hopefully, yes.
Hopefully. People have asked me, and it is getting full. I must admit, but we are rearranging things. The centre will still be there in some form, because we've got a long journey ahead of us. We just started the new series called Demon Files, and that is a long series, because according to Solomon, there's 72 demons, so we are going to talk to each and every one of them, hopefully, if there's such a thing. So that's a long project, at least 2 years that's down. So it's just going to keep growing. We're not going to change the way we think. We're not going to change the way we do things. It's just going to get better.
Exactly. Now, why change working format, eh?
Exactly. We do change things around in the rooms, because, like I said, I do get bored. So I do it at home. So, you know, my wife will be out, comes back, and the settee and chairs have moved round. That's just the way I am. So when people come after the lockdown, we open again in 2 weeks next Saturday to the members, and they will notice some changes. We've got some new items up there that no one's seen. So it'll just keep, if anything, it'll get better.
Yeah,
that's because we've only been open 3 years, and the change, the progress that we've made already in those 3 years, it's just going to go. The progress will go even quicker. Yeah, because we think we know what we're doing now. We know what our journey is. So it'll just get better and better, and people can try and copy us, but let them.
I mean, if they do, that means you're doing something right.
Yeah.
It's just a pity if you haven't got the gumption to actually create their own variation of doing things.
Yeah, this is right.
I mean, if I do say the best compliment is to have an impersonation done of it.
Oh yeah. Definitely. And it happens all the time. So I'm not that concerned. This is our journey. Yeah. So I'm not concerned too much about what other people are doing it. I'm just concerned with what we're doing, and what our friends think of what we're doing, and it seems to be going down quite well.
That's brilliant, is that? Now, Neil, we haven't got much time left. I mean, we have gone over slightly a little bit, but okay. I mean, if you could acquire anything for the centre, regardless of cost or location, is there anything what takes your fancy? What would you like down there?
Obviously, I'd like items from David Bowie, because David Bowie was a godlike figure to me. So I'd like to have items.
You have some mask facsimiles of him, didn't you?
Yeah, I have a David Bowie mask, but I'd like, especially from the Ziggy era, I'd like one of his costumes in the centre to try and do some work with that.
You'd try wearing it, wouldn't you?
No, I don't think so. That would drive people away, wouldn't it? But I'd actually like to get my hands on some of the more well-known items, like the Annabelle doll, like Robert the doll. I'd like to get my hands on some of them, just to see if the story's true. I don't think for 1 minute it will be, personally. That's at the minute, but I've not come across them yet. But if I did have them, they wouldn't be kept behind glass, because I just think that's wrong.
That's what I like about your place as well, because like I forgot to mention before, you actually don't lock things away. You let people handle these things and play. As long as you treat with respect, you let people handle them, don't you?
Yeah. There's only a couple of items behind glass, but that's out of respect to the owner of the item, who's in spirit. They've asked us not to let people mess with it. And for example, one doll is behind glass because it belongs to an old lady, and she says, please look after it. So we don't let people mess with it.
It's respectful.
It's still hers.
Yeah, exactly. So, now, should anyone, Neil, watching right now, wish to follow you, how can we do so? I mean, how can we get in contact with you, Neil?
Its best way at the minute is through Facebook. I've got a personal account, Neil Packer, or you can search Haunted Antiques Paranormal Research Centre, or you can just look at HAPRC Community. We do lots of live feeds on the Live Feeds channel, but that's the best way. I do have a Twitter account, but I can't get my head around that one.
I'm saying I'm very head on Twitter.
I don't like Twitter. People have told me to go on TikTok, but that's even less interesting than the others. But like I say,
look, you do a stupid dance, you're fine.
Yeah. Like I say, I am going to cut down on what I do on Facebook. I do have an idea of a different way, but that's just in my head at the minute. I've got to work on that one.
Yeah, without getting arrested.
Yeah.
Now, Neil, you've created something wonderful and unique. I mean, not just for Centre, but an whole community, and given a home to some brilliant shows. I mean, now, Neil, feel free to mention names, plugs, anything you like, Neil, to anyone interested in watching right now.
Oh, that's a difficult one. Jane and I do our own podcast on a Monday night on the Spreaker platform on Hingley Community Radio. That's me and Jane talking 2 hours, and we play some good music, my choice of music, so it's got to be good music. Tuesday nights, Jane and I do the Haunted Connections show, which is very similar to Barry's. We have a guest and we talk about a particular topic. And we also have the Confession of the Paranormal Investigator with Amy and Jane, and we have Sam Pert does readings every couple of months. We have the Gifts and Gadgets show. We have the Looney show, which if you want to have a laugh, tune into the Loonies. We have the Evidence show. We have the debate. I think you've part of the debate show.
I've been a few times. Yes, I've been a guest a few times.
Yeah, we have a wide range of shows. But check them out. They're all on the HAPRC live feeds. And
I must admit as well, Neil, I mean, sorry for butting in, but I mean, every show you have as well, like myself, I mean, anyone who cares to be a guest on this show, they are respected accordingly to their beliefs as well, aren't they? I mean, no one is brought on the show to belittle anybody whatsoever. With paranormal's not like that. Whatever people hear about the paranormal, I mean, we look after everyone, don't we?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Like I said earlier, just because you might have a different opinion to me, Barry, we're still mates.
Exactly.
That's what being human is, having your opinion, saying your opinion, and respecting other people's opinions. Because I don't know if my opinion's right at the minute. I think it is, but my opinion might change next week. I don't know. Exactly. If something happens, it might change, and think, Barry's right about it. That sort of thing.
I'm very right about anything.
So, we respect everyone, and an important thing I tell all our presenters: don't get involved in any of the drama that goes on. There's a lot of drama in the paranormal. Just let it go. Don't get involved in any arguments or the drama.
I mean, no matter how tempted you are to put a comment, just be bigger. Because once you ignore something, it washes away, doesn't it? By giving,
of course it is.
By putting by putting extra match into his fire, you're basically spreading these flames. But
of course you are. Just
add into it, it goes away on its own.
Yeah, I've got no interest in the paranormal drama.
Exactly.
My only concern is the centre. As long as we are doing things right, as far as we're concerned. I'm happy. I'm not bothered what certain teams are doing at all.
Exactly. Look after your own corner. That's the main thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, folks, we are come to the end of the show now. I mean, I would like to thank a brilliant Neil Packer. Neil, I wish you all the best. I am going to pay you another visit sometime soon. It won't be the too distant future either.
I think you're going to be in crutches soon.
I won't say. I hope not. No, I do wish you the best. Anyone who would like this show tonight, please feel free to share. This is a relatively new show. Neil is my 5th guest. I mean, if you do like what you see and hear, if you want to be a guest yourself, please do contact myself on BRF Paranormal or my personal profile or Frankishly Speaking Facebook group. And please contact me if you've got a comment, if you've got a topic you would like to see covered. Once again, join me and we'll talk about it. I mean, for tonight, though, I would like to thank Mr. Neil Packer. Thank you, Neil.
Thanks for inviting me. It's great to chat again.
Good night. Good night, folks.
Good night, all.